Hey everyone, SycraStream here, and today I'm joined with Bob Meatbag.
Hey.
Joined by Bob Meatbag, not joined with.
Just imagine this, like a
I got in
hydra.
trouble for this. Flavia tells me I can't say I'm joined with.
You can say it.
Okay, I'm joined by Bob Meatbag, Pasteletta, or Pass.
Hi.
I'm joined with Flavia, right?
Yeah.
I can say that.
Yeah.
And Ben Vasile.
Hello.
So Ben's mic isn't working. So Flavia's going to be talking for him, I guess. Like, it's either me or Flavia who's going to talk for him. I think you're better.
Sure, I can do that.
Like, check out. All right. Okay. So that's that. So Bob's going to be drawing. Pass, are you going to be drawing?
Yeah, I'm going to be drawing something. I don't know, but we'll do something.
All right.
Make some happy little trees.
All right, and Ben may be drawing something. Will you? Will you, Ben? I guess.
Yes, I will draw.
Okay, good. Good then. That takes the pressure off me. So I can focus on the chat. So, hey everybody. Sorry about the this is Ben's saying hello. I had to do this at an awkward time for some people. I apologize. The reason is I won't be available for later in because I have to go to Czechoslovakia, and I'm going to an anime thing that in Czechoslovakia. I think it was called Yugoslavia before, but now it's Czechoslovakia. But anyway, yeah. So and then I will be elsewhere for much time, meaning I won't be able to do streams. So we had to do this one early. Should we start with question? Oh, I have a question first. What do you people in the chat, what do you think about lewd art? Lewd is spelled L-E-W-D, and it means erotica.
I don't know. Lewd, I don't know.
Anton Bia asks, Sycra, have you ever gotten into a fist fight? Yes, I did once. This guy, he came to me and I said, hey, and then he held his fist out in front of me, and I was like, okay, fuck you, this is a fist fight, huh? And then I punched him in the face.
That's nice. That's a great way to meet somebody. That's how I make all my friends.
Okay, I should stop joking, huh? All right. So.
Are you gonna take questions?
Yes, I'm taking. Yes.
That's you taking questions.
And yes, and so what did people think about lewd art? Okay. So, do we have any questions?
We do.
Right.
Yegor Maximov asks, is that okay for a person who literally started drawing 1 month ago to mix up practice and actual fan artwork?
Huh.
Like, they just started drawing
like
a month ago, and should they be practicing and performing? Should they start performing, or is it too soon?
What do you think, Cass? They've been drawing for 1 month. 1 month, like...
1 month.
That's it? Just 1 month?
Literally started drawing 1 month ago.
Well, like, I don't know, just do it, just keep drawing. Like, that's what I did when I started. I mean, I started when I was like 11, but all I did was draw Sailor Moon. So, sorry, just a second. But yeah, all I did was I just drew fan art of Sailor Moon, and I mean, I sucked because I was 11 years old and they've never drawn before, but I don't know, just do it. Just keep drawing and draw whatever, but I don't know, try to mix in your fundamentals and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, or practice while you do your fan art. You know, just like use a reference. Well, maybe before you do your fan art, like just draw circles, draw, you know, like warm up, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Sorry, I'm kind of awkward, but I know everyone in the stream like this stuff. But yeah,
it's your first stream. It's gonna be awkward.
Yeah, it is gonna be awkward.
Just be very relaxed and use a lot of lube. My answer to that, I think there's like a few parts. I think the first, when you start drawing, I think the first thing you have to do is just draw a lot, like a ton, as much as you possibly can, and then draw what you like, and then move on to the learn your fundamentals, and then kind of break the rules after you've learned them. I think that's my thing. And I mean, you can do your fan art if you want, because in the beginning, just have fun with art and get used to drawing a lot. So it doesn't really matter what you draw, I think.
Yeah, because you just need to actually get used to it. I mean, just like any other skill, if you're not actually doing it and you're just reading all the time, then that's not going to help. I mean, reading does help, but like if you're not actually practicing. So, but make practice fun, because if you don't make practice fun, it's just going to suck. So.
Yeah, that's very good advice. So how do you make practice fun?
I don't know. Like, I remember you did that the photo reference thing of the cosplayer that was cosplaying Chi from Showbiz, and like I think that would be a good thing. Like, use a photo reference to of a cosplayer or something of a character you like, and then you can kind of, when you draw them, you're almost like drawing fan art at the same time as like practicing realism in a way. So I think that would be fine. But I mean, you might not want to post it if it's like a verbatim copy, because then the cosplayer would be like, hey, that's my photo, not your drawing. I don't know. But yeah. And I don't know. Also, I used to not be okay with this, but I think also copying artists that you like just not like claiming it's your own art, but copying fan art, like not fan art, copying screenshots or manga pages or whatever to like kind of see how they do things. That might help as well, if it's fun for you. But it's all about just like, if you're starting, just have fun and get used to it first. Also, I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Are you sharing your screen? Because
I think I am I?
No, you're not.
I am? I'm not? What?
No.
Oh. Why is it? Oh, that's right, because I blocked out for a second. Okay, there we go. Now I should be sharing. Yay.
Right. So, what other question? What's the next question?
How to react to people saying you're bad and that you should stop?
Oh,
That's a.
Throw them out the window.
I just don't believe them. It's like there's just reality, which is that if you keep doing something and you're bad, you're going to get better. So if you're bad, telling someone to stop is just saying, basically that person's saying to you, stay bad. But if you keep going, you won't be bad anymore. Maybe I had this idea, I don't know if it's right or whatever, but I started to feel almost like some people just say this because they're almost afraid for you to succeed. Because if you're bad and you work really hard and you get good, then you've done something with your life, and that makes them perhaps, like this is all, hypothetical or a theory, that it makes them feel like, well, I haven't done anything with my life. So maybe that pushes them when they see, oh, someone's actually committed to do something. Well, no, you're bad, so you should stop. Oh, just quit. I guess. The other thing may be that they just think they're being nice. They think they're telling you some good advice, but really, I mean, if you work really hard, you can do it. The only thing I would say is if you don't think you're actually hardworking and you don't put in the work, then also don't be delusional. Like, don't think, well, I'm going to draw once a week and I'm going to be a professional artist someday. It's like, yeah, probably not.
Takes a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, someone said, "Damn, Sycra, that's bitter."
Bitter?
What did I say that's bitter?
Well, also I feel like those kind of people, if you do stop, it's kind of a power trip for them because they know that they have that influence over you. So it's like if you give in to that, you're just like you're validating them in a way, and you're validating them in a very bad way. You know, it's like they're trying to tell you, oh, well, you should do what I say because I have control over you. And if you give them control over you, that's not good. So just tell them to buzz off and do what you want. And if it's, I don't know, if that's like, if it's to the point that they, their word means more to you than like improving, then I don't know, maybe it's not like, I don't know, like you just gotta do what you want, and if it's not really what you want to do and they're kind of deterring you from it, then maybe there's something else that makes you happier. It's that you won't be deterred from, but I don't know.
Yeah. Because if you really like something, it's pretty hard to be dissuaded from doing it.
Yeah, so you should just do it anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
Another question. To Sycra, I've asked this question before on your Patreon, but I don't think I got an answer. When is it really time to start producing work? You could spend your whole life practicing.
Again, I don't know.
Are you supposed to practice your entire life anyway?
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
You're not supposed to just stop practicing and then...
Yeah, I think it is good to produce as well as practice, and then when people start offering to pay you, that's usually a sign that you've reached a certain point.
Yeah.
But I still think, Flavia is right. You should always practice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's about maintenance too. It's like you don't just stop work. You don't like get super buff and it's like, okay, I don't have to work out for the rest of my life. Bye. And then you're not going to stay buff. You got to keep using your muscles. You know, it's the same thing with drawing.
Yeah, this kind of ties into another question that I saw on the chat. Do you have any suggestions when all your art is starting to look the same? It's like, I figured if you don't really practice, if you don't really keep exploring and keep learning, you're gonna hit a wall. And you're gonna start, I don't know, stagnating.
Yeah, do something different.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean all your work? Because there's a difference between your work is starting to look the same in terms of like consistency and style and stuff, and that you're just staying too much in your comfort zone. I think it's always good to be a little bit out of your comfort zone, but mostly like still stay in it to a degree, but then get out of it as well. Like if you're always 20% out of your comfort zone, I think you'll never run into that issue. But I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Do you have a different opinion?
Me or anybody? Yeah, not really, you know, just, I guess I suggest maybe look at other people who have like very different styles from you and see what they're doing different, and then maybe apply that to yours too. Like see what you like. I guess that's another part of figuring out what you like and then applying that, because like what makes a style and what makes your art end up looking different, I guess, is that you add different elements of what you like and such. So if you like, Oh, go ahead.
I was just thinking that something when they say that their art looks the same, like I'm guessing they didn't elaborate on whether or not like if it's the drawings look the same or if it's the subject matter. But I was just thinking one way of making sure that you're always doing something new is that I suppose this ties into the comfort zone thing is look for things that you don't draw normally. So let's say you draw a lot of characters, in which case I draw a lot of characters, but I don't really put them in environments very much. So if you put that new element that creates a new dynamic, it's sort of like, okay, you're just drawing characters. Well, if you're just drawing characters standing in some empty space, then eventually all your characters are going to be doing the same thing. And then that could subconsciously affect how you draw things. But if you put them in an environment or you put them in a scenario, that automatically changes things. What are they doing? What is their circumstances? What is their situation? And then just by doing that, it kind of forces you to do something different. And I think that's something that this person could play with. And if they can't think up of a situation, they could always go out or look up stuff online of like just places or people doing things. You know, yeah, I think that's what it is. Looking for a new dynamic can, I think, definitely help bring new elements into their work. So yeah.
That's good advice.
Yeah. How do you stay motivated during a project you're not enthusiastic about?
Do it. Just do it. That I can't do this Java Buff voice, but yeah. I keep saying just do it, but that's how it works, I guess. At least for me, like when I'm doing projects, since it's my job, it's usually like I have people waiting on me that paid me that can like file a PayPal dispute if they want. So that's what motivates me to finish stuff. But I don't know. It's also kind of like I think you need to get yourself into a rhythm or something that you're always drawing. So it's not like about motivation necessarily. It's more about this is part of my routine, so I need to keep doing this. So it's just like make time for it, and make time for it that you only do that thing. Like set, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. That okay, I'm only gonna do this thing. Shut everything else off. Like that's just make it your focus, and then like reward yourself after that. Like say, okay, if I work on this for 30 minutes or an hour, I get ice cream, or I get to watch this thing I like, etc. And just I feel like that gets it done. That works for homework and stuff too, at least in my experience. Mm-hmm. But definitely, like, give yourself a reward that's outside of art, I guess, unless you want to, like, reward yourself with, okay, if I draw this thing I'm not really into, I can draw this other thing that I am into afterwards. So, like, I see that, what is his name? Oh, Kron Prince or whatever. I know his name is different now. It's something Russian. But he does, like, cool-down drawings. Like, you can see that he just did it for fun, and I don't know if it's cool-down from work or cool-down from just doing other drawings, but it seems like he just does those right after he's working on something big or whatever. He rewards himself by doing, like, a cute girl, like, because he likes to draw cute girls, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know, just set the time and then reward yourself after, I guess. How it works for me.
Evan Lewis asks, how to get over the fear of perfection in a sketchbook?
Sketchbook is not a place for perfection. You really need to think about that. Like, the sketchbook is there for you to learn. And I see there are people who sort of, professionals who keep multiple sketchbooks, and one of them is sort of a show-off sketchbook, and they'll have very finished sketches. But to me, it's like, sure, that looks good, and I do hope one day my sketchbooks will look like that as well. But it's a case of, I do feel like a sketchbook should be more for your own development, and I don't even think you need to show people so much, because that gives you a lot more freedom to be like, oh, I'm really going to practice this thing. I don't have to worry about, oh, is this good or not? What are people going to think? Or anything like that. Yeah. So I don't think perfectionism, unless you're talking about like trying to do it in terms of practicing a lot until you can do something really well that's fine. But if it's like, oh, I have to make a nice looking sketch, no, not really. I don't think that's what the sketchbook is for. But anyone else have different opinions, you can feel free to.
I find it
I
to
think
want to do good stuff on the page, to want to, like, I don't know, look good, look fancy, and look whatever. There's this drive to the paper, and it's like, oh, it's an item, it's a sketchbook, it's a thing. It should be presentable. It should be cool.
That's why I don't buy a Moleskine sketchbook.
Yeah, it's even worse.
Because I feel like that's what I would feel if I had a Moleskine sketchbook.
Yeah.
That's not my experience when I had one. I don't know, like, that's the thing, I've never understood that mentality, like, oh, I need to make this sketchbook look good, because I was always that kid in high school that was like, touch my sketchbook and you'll die, you know, it's like, don't look at my stuff, and I had friends like that too, that like, we'd only show each other our sketchbooks as like, you only show your sketchbook to someone if you like really, really trusted them, and you like, didn't think they'd judge you, and that's the thing, is like, that's the culture I kind of grew up with, that like, sketchbooks are always not supposed to be perfect, and they were always practiced, and it was not really something you need to share. So I guess it's something I find weird, is like, it's almost like needing to show your homework to a friend or something. Like, that's how I've always thought about sketchbooks, is like, that's my homework. It's not necessarily something I need to show off to people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I do practice paints too, and they suck, and I'm like, I'm not going to show them to people because they suck, you know. But it's just like, yeah, I don't get it, I guess.
Yeah, when I'm doing my pointy chins, I try really hard not to think that it's gonna be seen, because if I do, then I'll probably not draw as much as I would like, or as freely. And then my answer to that was just make more secret sketchbooks, because it's easier to just, oh, I want to figure out how to draw this thing, but I don't want people to see me drawing a bunch of this thing.
Another thing, well, actually another tip I might have for that, though, is like, get a really, really cheap, like, kind of crappy sketchbook, I guess, just for your practice, and not, like, it already looks like crap, so don't care about, I guess you'll care less. Like, the ones that are just, whatever that is, like, newsprint, they're like $2 at Walmart or less. It's just like this brown recycled paper that it's just not good quality, and it's not going to last that long, but it's great for doing, like, gesture or anything like that. But since it's already kind of like, quote-unquote, throwaway paper, you don't really feel like I feel like it's definitely a psychology thing when you see this perfect, pristine piece of white paper and a really nice sketch where they're like, okay, I need to make this perfect or else I'm wasting this paper. And I guess you just need to get out of that. Or, like, I think also what helps is just taking a really cheap line notebook and do your sketches in there, do your work in there, because then, like, again, you're getting out of that thing that, like, oh, this needs to look perfect, because it's, no matter what you do, it's going to look like a mess. But that's the thing, you need to be messy when you're practicing. Like, that's just how it works. Not everything is a masterpiece. Like, what's that whole thing that's like, you need to make like 100,000 drawings or something before you make anything good, or like out of 1,000, like only one will be good or something like that. That's not necessarily true, because if you try it really hard on every single one, that can be good. But I don't know, just, I mean, I have tons and tons of sketchbooks in my mom's garage from when I was a kid. That was just like all these crappy school notebooks. I just have a bunch of anime doodles in them. I'm not going to show them to anyone, so.
Yeah, and I think once you define who you are as an artist, so for instance, I like to think of sketchbooks like something that you just do all the time. If at first you're not caring about quality and, oh, if anyone's going to see it, but you just treat it like it's my job to do, let's say, a page a day in the sketchbook, or at least a page a day, then over time you're going to lose that fear, because it's not going to be you look at a blank page and you think, oh no, I have to make a good drawing. It's just you look at the blank page and it's like, oh, I have to do the drawing for today. It's
Yeah.
different. It's a different feeling. Because I used to have that too, where I would be very intimidated by a blank piece of paper, and it's almost like I wanted so badly for it to be good before I even started. Like I had such an expectation of, oh, I have an idea and I want it to be good, and or sometimes I didn't even have an idea, and it's like I want to draw something and I want it to be good, and that's very paralyzing.
Indeed, yeah.
So what did people think of Blue Dart?
Most of them were just yay Ludart, yay Ludart. Ripestone said it makes a lot of money from what I heard.
It does. It's my job. So I hope that's okay to say, but yeah, it's my job.
Yeah.
So.
IPPG said Ludart still gets a reaction out of people, so.
Depending on the loot art, but.
Lemony Apple says, I like loot art if it has some story element to it, sexy and fun. Hoodie said, I think loot art is a good way to practice anatomy and it can be interesting.
And
the rest
I think that's a good point, because like some of the best anatomy artists are, you just call them lewd artists now? Is that a thing?
I guess, or erotic artists, or
hentai artists. Yeah, and some of the worst are hentai artists as well. It's like you really run the gamut. It's like some of them, what is this? This does not work at all. But my favorite few anatomy artists are either animators or hentai artists. So.
Well, yeah, you got to draw a lot of nudes. So.
Yeah, it's just constant practice, I guess. And yeah, I also asked because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be drawing more nude art.
In the stream, or?
Not in the stream, just on my own time, because it's like, and not like, I don't know, maybe I'll do commissions and stuff, but yeah, it's a case that for me, I always thought of art as not really by subject. I only encountered this, I think I was interviewing Rake, where it really hit me that, oh, someone drew something that now has a certain quality to it that makes it, in some people's eyes, bad or unviewable. Because I guess I got over the whole nudity thing really quickly in figure drawing. I was very afraid of figure drawing at first that, oh, what if I have some kind of reaction? And that didn't happen.
Reaction. Are you going to? Are you just going to break out in hives and get a nosebleed and then fall over, foaming at the mouth? You know, that kind of stuff. That happens, right? That's how dudes react to nude people, right?
Yeah, I was afraid of that. Nosebleeds. That's it. Nosebleeds from the nose. So.
Or else would you be bleeding? This concerns me. Are you okay, Sycra?
So, anyway, okay, hold on. I just remembered something. I've said the story before about the woman with the tampon string hanging out and life drawing.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, God. I don't know if I want to hear this.
I'm not going to tell it. But the point is, yeah. So what I found is that it was actually more like a doctor would look at a nude body, because when I looked at naked people in figure drawing, it was like all I was thinking of was proportion, lighting, anatomy, perspective, just very technical things. And I imagine the same is true with a doctor if they're performing surgery or something. They're not just like, I don't know, getting all bashful about seeing a boob or something. And yeah, after that, it was just like people drawing, like, oh, this person likes to draw tanks. Okay, this person likes to draw cats. Okay, this person likes to draw superheroes. Okay, this person likes to draw naked contortionists. Okay, this person likes to draw buses. Yeah, see, the naked contortionists trip me up. But anyway, the point is, I don't really care that much, but it's... okay, hold on. Overworld is asking, wait a second, Ben Vasile is Romanian? Vasile is a Romanian name.
I answered it.
You answered it?
Yeah.
He's Romanian. Yeah.
Yeah. He's Romanian.
He is Romanian.
Also technologically impaired right now.
Yeah.
Cannot communicate.
Yeah. Okay.
You want another question?
Yeah.
Atlantics asks, how can I see mistakes in my drawings, and how can I correct them?
Flip the canvas! That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's a very
Flip
good
the
one.
canvas! I can see a mistake in my drawing right now. Oh my god, her head is really weird shaped right now. But, sorry to yell, but flip the canvas! It's really important. Or put your drawing up against a window and see what it looks like flipped, because then you can usually see like what's wrong with it. But
Yeah.
anyways, you can say things now, Sycra. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely helpful. Flip the canvas or show somebody who you trust to.
Or stop working on it for a while and then come back to
take
it.
a break.
Have a snack.
Yeah.
How about you, Bob? How do you see your mistakes?
How do I see my mistakes?
Just look at the mirror.
Yeah, that's what I do just to see it reflecting back at me. But yeah, flip the canvas, turn it upside down. I was surprised at how much I was able to see, because sometimes even if you flip it, you're still, if you look at the flipped image too long, you start to get used to it, and then what your brain does is, especially if you're looking at a human character, is that your brain starts to get used to it. It's like, oh, that's a human face, therefore whatever, and then you'll just see a human face instead of the flaws. But if you flip it upside down, then sometimes with something that's human-like, it's you stop seeing it. Well, at least for me, anyways, I stopped seeing it as a human. It's just this shape, and then afterwards, I just go like, oh, well, this part is wrong, that part is wrong, etc., etc. So yeah, flipping it, turning it upside down, or coming back, or revisiting it is a good idea. So yeah.
I have a question for you, Bob. How are you doing this?
Doing what?
How are you seeing the scene in your head and I don't know, it's like a camera or something.
How am I seeing it? I have a vague idea of what I'm going to draw. So, for example, I started drawing this character first, and then I don't know. It's really difficult to explain because a lot of it, like, yes, there is visualization, but the other aspect of it is it's just that sometimes I find the drawing, and yeah, I don't know. It's really difficult to explain. I'm not sure if I'm doing a good enough job. I can try retracing my steps. So let's say I drew this character, so automatically the prompt was zombies in a diner. So automatically, okay, there's a character. He's a zombie. He's sitting somewhere. I'm imagining him sitting on a table. So I figured, okay, I'm going to place him here. He's probably going to be sitting on a chair somewhere or a seat. There's going to be a table here. What else am I going to draw? Oh, well, somebody's probably serving them. So I draw this character. Then I have my reference open. It's like, okay, I got to put an environment behind there. What's the location that they're sitting? Is there any other people sitting beside them? And that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just sort of like once when I draw one aspect, another aspect automatically comes up, and then each thing that I put on the page leads me to another aspect of the image. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's clear. It's very difficult to explain something that just happens for me. Yeah. Does that answer the question adequately?
I think you're magic.
Yeah, you sound pretty magic.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I have no idea.
Hey Bob, do you? This is kind of a random question, but do you vivid dream? Like, do you have like really vivid dreams and stuff?
Not very often.
I just wonder about that, like, because I just feel like some people, they just process these kind of images in their head while they dream or something. So you just like, since if you're always dreaming about, I don't know, like weird, bizarre, or I don't know, like situations like this, then it's almost like it's already real to you and you remember it, I guess, like a photo.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I was thinking, is there a biological aspect to this? And I can't say, like, I can't rule that in because that's just too obscure. I have no proof of that. But what I do know for sure is that when I was young, I was constantly visualizing when I was younger. I remember this clearly. So I had a lot of practice, and I was young when I was doing this. So you know, it sort of became like a reflex to me. So that's probably what it is. I just had a lot of practice, and I was doing it when I was young, so I got that advantage. But I think people can practice this as well. Like, you know, when people read, they automatically visualize, or when they get into it, they visualize things. And the thing that hinders them is their technique, or they think they have the idea visualized in their head, and then when they start drawing, they realize, oh, there's flaws in what I'm imagining, which is very similar to what I'm doing. Like, I have a vague idea that there's a diner. I have a vague idea that there are these zombies sitting at the table. But it isn't until I actually put the lines on the page that I realize, okay, where are these specific elements? Like, oh, what's in the foreground? What's their relation in perspective? What's going on in the background, etc., etc. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely. I think when you were saying like reading too, I'm guessing that you probably read a lot too. Like, it definitely is a thing that if you read a lot and you imagine a lot.
No, I didn't read. I didn't read that much. It's I'm saying that reading is an option because when I read, it's like, okay, I'm visualizing things, but I daydreamed a lot, so you know that's just something that that's just something that came to me naturally.
Yeah, that's just something you got to do, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea to visualize things. Because, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, but it's sort of like if you don't go in with an idea, sometimes it can be difficult to find what you're looking for. I'm not sure if that makes any sense.
I have a question that I think you could answer, Path. It's GmbH Neo. Have you guys heard about this drawing stream page, Picarto? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. That's where I work. I work on Picarto. Well, I don't work for Picarto, but I do all my streaming on there. Well, mostly because Picarto is like the only place that allows like nude artwork. So you can draw anything there, which is nice. Because live stream, people used to like stream only on live stream, but live stream wouldn't allow you to draw. Like, you couldn't draw a boob. It was stupid. Like, you get banned. But Picarto is really awesome. There's some really, really nice people on there that just surf around. I've gotten a lot of like new people interested in my art through there, and it's a really nice way to chat with people too. And it's awesome. I would highly recommend it. And also, it works with Open Broadcaster, which is free, and it works on I think it works on Macs and stuff too. So it doesn't matter what kind of computer you have. And it's pretty easy to use, so yeah, it's awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, didn't you say you got a Picarto account, Sycra?
Yeah, but I have not yet streamed on it.
Well, I know it's like hard for you to stream and draw and talk at the same time, like you said.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Maybe I should get you in on my stream sometime and force you to talk and draw. I don't know. Anyways, sorry, Flavia. Were you gonna ask another question?
Yeah, I was gonna ping another question from the chat. Do you ever have the feelings that you're an imposter? Like your art director might find out you don't have the skill, even if you do.
All the time?
Yeah.
I don't know about imposter, but...
I would have an art director unless you're counting me. So.
I guess it works for clients as well. Like if you're ever afraid of, like, I don't know, you're streaming because you stream your work, so it's like, oh, are they gonna see me making a mistake, or are they gonna think any less of me, or if I'm having a bad day, are they gonna judge me based on that, or stuff like that.
Especially when you have a bad day or a bad week or
Well,
whatever.
I don't know. I think that's a lot of like in people's head. Like, I don't know. People are generally nice unless you have like a group of really bad people. Like, if you are having a bad day, like, I mean, I've let my followers and my people in my stream know, like, when I'm sick or just not feeling good or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, you should totally take a break or take it slow. And I mean, most of my commissioners are pretty nice too. They're like, oh, if you're sick, then that's fine. Yeah, most people aren't as critical as you think they'd be. I mean, maybe an art director would be. I've never worked with an art director, but when you're streaming live or when you're like showing a process, I feel like typically people are either more helpful than hurtful, or they actually end up learning stuff from you, like, or you learn stuff from them when you're streaming. Because I do multi-streams with my friends, and we learn stuff from each other all the time. And I sometimes, Sycra and I, like, well, I mostly I've watched you draw Sycra, like, or showed you manga studio stuff. But I don't know, that's just like, I guess I was talking more about this topic of streaming and showing your process being fake, I guess. But I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of people are understanding that since digital art is so convenient that it's not like you're cheating or anything, or as long as it looks good in the end, that's all, at least in my experience, that's all people care about. They don't care how you got there as long as you're not like ripping someone else off and it looks good. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Just get to a good ending, I guess.
Yeah. What do you and your friends consider constructive criticism in your or their work?
Me or everybody? Or...
Anyone.
Just be nice, I guess. Don't be a jerk about it. Don't say they suck. Just say, oh, this could be better, or you should move this there, etc. I don't know. What do you think, Sycra?
What was it? Constructive.
Like, what's constructive criticism and what's not? Like, what type of criticism do you actually benefit from when you're talking to your friends? Because I know you got critiques from like, Jet and Costa.
Well, the first thing is I learned on the flip side, I learned never to give a critique unless someone asks for it. I think that's just good practice because some people can take critiques and some people can't. And then in terms of what is constructive, when you're drawing a lot and you have a specific problem, if you can ask for a critique that's based around a specific problem, I think you're more likely to get something constructive. When you just point out your picture and say what's wrong, you're opening yourself up to a lot of options of, someone could tell you like, well, everything's wrong, or not know what you're talking about, or something like that. So I think it's important to be specific, unless it's someone you really trust. For instance, like, I mean, I can show Bob my work, and yeah, whatever he says, it's probably going to be constructive. And that's just because we've done stuff together for so long. It's like, well, kind of know that this can be trusted. But anyway, that's all I know.
I don't know. I think it's pretty, because I fall into this thing as well. Like when I ask for critiques, I don't know how to phrase it. I don't know how to be specific in what I'm asking for. Like I just say, oh, this picture's wrong. Do you see anything wrong with it? And it's like, yeah, everything. But if I specify it, if I just break it down into details and stuff, and it's like, oh, is the perspective off? Is the gesture fucked? Or sorry. Or are there any, I don't know, manageable problems? I think it's easier to learn from them. It's easier to take it in.
Sana Sahin asks, Jamar Jakrilgit well kwaliteit burgegeld.
I think it's about quality in your work. But yeah.
I had an answer to that. It was Wurten gut Burt Python Fragen Blicken klar.
No, I think it's more like they're Dutch.
Oh, they're Dutch?
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
How do I learn to visualize and understand the human body in 3D? 2D is okay, like from the front. I can memorize that, but how do I continue from there?
Do you know, like, well, you have to know how to do 3D in the first place. Like, if you don't know how to do basic 3D, like squares, or not squares, cubes, spheres, etc. I don't know, Loomis's book, obviously everybody recommends it, but Figure Drawing for All It's Worth is really, really good about talking about that. There's just pages and pages on that, so I highly recommend looking into that. And I mean, Sycra, you have videos on that too, so.
Yeah, it took a really long time to get form for me. There was this exercise where I would try to visualize a cube spinning around, like close my eyes and try and visualize it spinning around, but I couldn't even get the cube in the first place. It was a lot of trying to freeze frame it, like those animations. I don't know if you've seen. Bob, do you remember there's a guy who he was like one of the first animator people, and he did these horses in motion and people running in motion and stuff? Muybridge. Edward Muybridge, I think. Anyway, that's how I try and think of it. Like, okay, so this is position 1, then this is position 2. And how I figured out how to draw a head is I looked in the mirror and I drew myself, and then I turned my head a little bit, and then I drew myself again, and then I turned my head a little bit, and I drew myself. And eventually I saw like the nose was turning, and it's like, oh, that's how it works. Okay, now I can see it in 3D. Now I understand that form. And then once you start to do this more and more, I guess this is why it's encouraged to practice like cubes and stuff, because once you can trick your brain into seeing 3 dimensions on a 2D surface, then you can just do, it's a lot easier.
Yeah. Nope.
Do you ever get burned out? And if so, how do you get better? Lately I feel like I can't draw and need to practice, but when I practice I don't like my drawing, so I quit drawing. Oh boy.
I got burnt out last week, or a few days ago?
Yeah, a few days ago.
It lasted just for a few, maybe a week or so.
I think you had 4 or 5 days where you were just out.
Yeah, because, okay, how did it start? It was a back pain thing, right?
It was the back pain and then the food poisoning.
Yeah, so I kind of screwed up my back because I guess when you're over 30, if you just live, you screw up your back. Like, go to sleep, wake up, back pain, yay. So anyway, so I draw in bed, and I think that's where I was getting some of the pain. I mean, I still do, kind of, but so I switched to drawing on a desk instead of drawing in bed for my daily sketches. And then on top of that, I was using like this reference iPad, and that was taking days and days to update, and it still never did in the end, so whatever. So I didn't have, like it was just getting out of my usual groove, and then I got food poisoning, and there's a lot of stuff, and then I just was feeling really crappy, and it wasn't working much, and the solution was like deal with my back pain, and then I started drawing in bed again, and there was this thing of like, and I was because I wasn't drawing in bed, I wouldn't draw right when I woke up. I drew like maybe 20 minutes after I woke up, and when I'm half asleep or just wake up, then when I draw, I seem to have much more access to my subconscious. I don't know if this is just for everybody or if it's just for me, but just before I go to sleep, maybe for like 3 hours before I go to sleep, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., stuff like that, and then when I just wake up, I have more creativity, it feels like. And so then once I got that, then it got better again. It's like, oh, okay, I remember how to do this. This is not so hard.
Yeah.
You could do the thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important not to panic, because you had these things. You when you were doing your videos with a retrospect and stuff, you had these things where, oh, I didn't draw for this, and I didn't feel like drawing anymore, and I didn't like it. So don't judge it, and now you're more grounded in it.
Yeah.
Learn how to get over it.
You mean like way back when I would do that?
Yeah.
Long time. Yeah, but I still, since 2003, I've been drawing every day, so there's not a day missed, even if it's bad.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I feel like people do get really hooked up on like, okay, this has to be good, and it's probably because the culture of, we see finished products all the time. Like we only see people's good stuff because that's all they post. And that's the thing, is like, you don't see all the crappy drawings they did that they didn't like, that they just did anyways because they needed to practice. And that's the thing, is you just got to do that. And even if it sucks, even if it's not fun, you just got to do it, I guess. Just like you go to, like, there's going to be days you don't want to go to work. There's going to be days that you really don't feel like you're in the right place or something, but unfortunately you have to be there for whatever amount of time or whatever, so just gotta Shia LaBeouf it, do it. I want to post that meme right now just because I can't do the yelly do it voice, but I don't know, maybe someone can post that for me.
Yeah, I didn't watch that Shia LaBeouf thing.
Oh, well, just
I only know it from... You don't have to paste it.
Okay.
I know.
Well, everybody else.
Yeah. Anyway.
Get through it. Just, you can do it. I believe in you. You don't know me, but I believe in you, so you can do it. The person asked question. It's gonna suck, but you can do it.
Here's a question. How do you deal with people who only accept hyperrealism as true skill and deny stylization and treat it like useless garbage?
That's what I encounter all the time, and I used to be one of those people, I think, to a point, because when I was starting out, drawing something, first of all, it was drawing something symmetrical. That felt like a huge accomplishment. Like, wow, you can draw and the eyes look the same. If I saw someone and they could draw and the eyes look like they belonged on the same head, it was like, whoa, because I could never do that. I would draw one eye and then the other eye would, especially when I drew one eye, it would be like, if I got it right, yes, I drew one eye, it looks cool, and then I was so scared to draw that second eye, and then I would start, and then so many of my people ended up wearing eye patches because I scribbled out the eye.
Convenient eye patch.
Yeah, convenient eye patches. I scribbled out the eye, and then I just shade this end, and then just make it an eye patch, or draw the strand of hair that covers the eye. Because it's like, oh, this one looks really good. I don't want to screw this one up. I don't want to lose this picture. Okay, hair strand covering the eye. So there was that. And then after I got symmetry out of the way, the next thing was like, oh, you can draw something that looks like the thing that you're drawing. So I really, when I was younger, I really hated abstract art, and it felt like, yeah, but it doesn't even look like the thing. Like, it might be a picture of just splodges of stuff, and then it's titled, like, red teacup. It's not a red teacup, it's just splodges of nothing, and then someone else would paint, like, a very realistic red teacup, and I was like, wow, it looks like a red teacup, that's great, you did it. You've succeeded. Although I always liked comics and anime and stuff, so... but then after I realized, oh, I learned how to draw not photorealistic, but like realistically. I learned how to paint realistically, and it was like, oh, okay, so now I can do this. Let's try drawing from imagination. That should be easy, right? No. And then I realized, okay, so never mind. Everything I thought is wrong. The thing that I thought is hard is actually pretty easy. The thing that I thought is easy is really hard.
Here's a question. Question for Sycra. How did you manage to move from Romania to Canada to study? Did you earn money until you could do it? Did you get any help?
I did the opposite.
No, that's not true. We know you lie. How did you move to Romania?
When I first came to Romania and I talked to people, the first question was always why. Like I said, oh yeah, I came from Canada to Romania. Why? Even Romanians, why? Why would you do that? I don't know. Why did I do it, Flavia?
I couldn't say. I don't know. I don't know what possessed you.
Okay, what's a real question now?
How do I get out of a 6 or 7 month span of not being able to draw anything? Every time I try, I just really hate it, and I don't think it's good enough. I think it doesn't matter if you hate it or not. It's like, just draw. Like, let it go. It's like, fine, you hate it, but keep doing it. Keep drawing, and give yourself, that's what I'm trying to do, give yourself a month's time of not judging what you're drawing, and just focus on, I'm drawing, and then at least you'll feel less crappy about not having drawn. Because I think a lot of it is just guilt and pressure and self-inflicted pain.
Indeed, yeah. Well, it's another thing too. Is like, think about it like exercising. Like, I mean, I'm doing like I'm training right now for hiking because I'm really weak. And it really sucks to run. Like my legs hurt all the time, and I hate it. But I know it's good for me, and eventually it'll pay off. That's the thing. You gotta just like exercising. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck. It's not gonna be fun, but it's gonna really pay off, and then it will be fun, and then it'll be worth it, and then you can just like forget the entire time that sucked. Because you just gotta, that's the thing is like, if you don't go through the parts where it's just not fun, then you're not gonna get to the fun part.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's similar in video games too. I mean, like there's parts of games of like, I mean, there's parts of like Okami's one of my favorite games, and like there's just parts of it that I never want to play it again, even though I like replaying the game. It's like, I really wish I didn't have to play this level. I hate this level, but you have to get through it to get to the part you like, you know? So, yeah. It's just, it is going to be hard and not fun, and you might, but just don't focus on that and focus on the reward at the end, you know? And keep going, because you can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
What do you think about people appreciating the work you yourself find less impressive instead of something you worked very hard on?
I think it's very important to convince those people of what you think. Don't let them have their own opinion. It will be the end of them. Because if they think that you're good when you know for sure that you're not, they're going to ruin their life. Well, if they're Buddhist or whatever, lives. But
it's the worst possible thing ever to have their own opinion. They're gonna, you just, it's all your fault if they like it. That's just terrible.
Yeah, I had to learn. I was told to just say thank you.
Yeah.
And so someone says, oh, I really like your work. I like grit my teeth and I go, oh, thanks so much. I really like that. That's cool. I really appreciate it. But like even now, I'm like squeezing my hands like together. Just it's very difficult because I don't believe it. It's like no. And then people would say, "Oh, you're so modest," and I would feel like I'm not modest. I would tell you if I was good. I would brag about it if I was good. I would be telling everyone, "Yeah, I'm the best. I'm the best. Great. This is awesome." But I'm not. I suck. Can't you see it? You need to wash your eyes. Let me grab this soap and wash your eyes for you.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I think it really helps if you figure out, like, when you hit these issues, like if this is a recurring thing for you, where you're bothered by the fact that people don't really appreciate the pieces you've put in the most effort in. It's like, okay, take a step back and think, why is this happening? Is it that you think yourself that your pieces that you worked hard on are the best, or do you want people to appreciate the effort you put in? Because if, like, what motivates you? What's your drive? And it's like, okay, so take another step back and think, these are people who have their own their own lives and their own tastes and their own, like, they're pretty. I don't know. They're pretty specific about what they like.
Mhm.
Sometimes a doodle you made is what'll really turn them on. Here's another question. How can I deal with my own negativity and pessimistic thoughts about my art? It really ruins me, and it even got me in a depression.
Tell it to buzz off and go look at some kittens.
Oh, here's a healthy one. How about you, Bob?
Your work looks like Noah from Sky Girls. I don't know. Sky Doll.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
But yay!
Which one?
Okay.
Flavia's picture looks like a Sky Doll. Whatever. I don't know what that is.
I am not.
The fairy things, the toys that you used to like wind up and then they'd fly or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I really like the colors in that. They're like my favorite colors. Both of you guys like work with my favorite colors, and that's why I love you guys' art so much. It's like so pretty.
Okay,
Give me your pretty art skills.
Okay, here's an urgent one. That will not go away. Naoki Kawai says, I'm in love with a Romanian girl. How do I... oh, wait, I lost it. How do I get the courage to confess, basically? I'm in love with a Romanian girl. What am I supposed to do? Sycra?
Go to a therapist?
If the Romanian
you probably
girl
want to
is a
get
therapist.
that figured out.
Lure her to Canada and marry her, I guess. Just take her to Canada and tell her, hey, you can live here, and then she'll marry you and stuff. I don't know. It's like, are there any specific Romanian wooing techniques that you know of, Flavia? Like,
I think you're supposed to pull them by their hair. And then drag them into your cave, and then grunt. That's about it.
Tell them to get in the kitchen, I guess, and then.
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
But it might be deadly. From what I heard of your food poisoning, it sounds like it might be deadly to tell them to go in the kitchen.
And stay
Maybe
there.
eat the food. Yeah. Stay there, but don't make any food, because we might die if you do.
Yeah.
You might turn into toxic, poisonous puke.
No, you don't understand. We got food poisoning from food cooked by professionals.
Yeah, so you definitely don't.
Professional.
Kazakh says, if you're in love with a Romanian girl, you should show her things like internet or running water. Romania has good internet.
Yeah, Romania. She could show you internet.
Running water. No, they're working on that, but.
Rusty. Yeah, they're working on that. They're putting in new pipes that are already rusty.
Yeah, they were putting in new pipes around where we live, and they were already rusty.
And then they painted over them, because I don't know, I guess they got complaints or something. They just painted over the rust. There, drink from this.
Yeah, here's some very pretty lead poisoning. It's painted, so it's okay now, right? As long as it looks good. Not lead poisoning. I don't know.
So
infertility and burning is fine. This is fine.
You will need to give her a donkey. I've received no donkeys.
You received me,
Yeah.
and I'm a jackass.
I guess that's good enough. But yeah, you're behind, Sycra. I mean, you haven't even taken her to your cave and grunted, or, like, where's her donkey? Jeez, you're such terrible, terrible husband, right?
I'm pretty good by Romanian standards, though.
Okay, let's move on from Romania into depression again. I noticed
More depression.
less and less.
This
people,
is just a depressing stream.
That's who they are. That's what they do.
Look who you have. You have such upbeat people. What do we know about depression? Bob, what do you know about depression?
What do I know about depression?
I am depression.
Every day is depression.
Every day is depression. Okay, here's a specific one. Fine, never mind. Ignore the depressed people. They can just. So they're
Depression sucks. It's alright.
by themselves. How do you draw gore?
How do you draw gore? That's a Bob question right there.
That's a Bob question.
How do you draw gore?
How do you know?
I don't know. It depends on.
Ow, gore.
It depends on what you're going for. Are you talking about like human gore? If that's the case, then it's just like, okay, learn anatomy. It's like, learn about the rib cage. Look at what a rib cage looks like when it's open. Look at intestines.
Yay! Watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I guess that could be one. Like, look at zombies. That's an example of gore. If you want to get hardcore about it, you could always look at the real stuff. I wouldn't recommend it if you're sensitive to that. Let's see what else. You got to think about
if you're sensitive to it, though.
Oh, actually, I have a recommendation for that. If anyone, don't look it up if you are not looking at it, but Mermaid in a Manhole is pretty good for that if you want some references.
What is that?
It's a terrible, terrible Japanese movie about a mermaid in a manhole that's very gory, and yeah. The guy in general, he's like a gore artist. Like he does. So his stuff was so realistic that the FBI actually went after him, and he had to prove that it was all special effects. But yeah, it's very realistic stuff. If you have the stomach for it, I mean, have you heard of it before, Bob?
No.
Oh, I was surprised because I think I don't know. I don't know what your actual interests are, but yeah, I found it on Tumblr.
I don't really look up gore all that often. It's just sort of like if I want to draw gore, I just think about the situation. It's like like this, for example. It's just like, okay, there's a zombie. Oh, well, they're eating people. Well, there's a guy who has his chest cavity open. And just I don't know. You just got to think about the circumstances of what you're going for. It's just like is a person or whatever that you're going for, are they being cut up? Are they being shredded? It's just sort of like, whatever situation you want to create, look up the references that you need for it.
Yeah. Also, like, you could probably, practice painting raw meat, I guess.
No, I'm pretty sucky at painting.
Yeah. Can we go back to the depression question?
No.
Yeah, don't get us on the topic now.
You rejected them.
I don't know. I love cutesy things, but I also like scary things. So I know like a lot of gore references. Because I mean, like Flavia and I were sharing like horror manga and stuff. I love horror manga. So yeah. Frank and Friends.
When I'm drawing gore.
Huh?
Like I always get super hungry when I'm drawing gore.
I don't. I draw gore, but I don't really draw gore that much. But if I don't know, I'm a vegetarian, so like when I see gore, I don't get hungry because I actually hate meat. I'm actually a pescatarian. Steak grosses me out. I just can't imagine putting that in my mouth. But it's also because my mom only made steak like when I was a kid, so I'm kind of sick of it too. But yeah, it's the opposite for me. It's like, oh god, this is nasty. I don't want to put that in my mouth. But yeah.
So what do you like about drawing gore? Why do you do it? What is it for you?
I don't really know, but like, what makes it fun, Bob?
What?
Is it like a challenge, or I guess it would be a challenge because now we have to know anatomy and like lighting and stuff.
What you mean drawing gore?
Yeah, what makes it fun?
It's not that it's fun. It's just it's very easy for me. It's like, okay, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Gore. It's not like I don't know. It's just like it's a very natural thing for me to draw. So yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with me and titties.
Here's a question. How do I get more Bob in my life?
How do you get more
Kidnap
Bob
him.
in your life? Well, first you got to start kidnapping some babies. That's always a prerequisite. You gotta make sure that they're fresh. You gotta shake and bake them, and then put them out onto the table, and then pray to whatever thing that you worship to, and then I might just take a visit, sample the meat, and then if I like it, then I'll give you some more Bob.
That's good. Sounds like a good plan.
Hey, Bob,
Good way
you
to
should
spend
tell
the
them more
day.
about what you do to the Indians who call you.
Yeah. Do it.
Oh, you want me to tell them
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
Indian stuff?
Sounds
Okay.
lovely.
Okay, so lately I've been getting these calls from these Indian scammers. The first couple of times I was just confused, and then I got kind of annoyed. And then I started trolling them because I thought, oh, it would be amusing to see how they would react. So then one day, they called me, and then I answered the phone. And it's like, hello. It's like, hello, sir. We are from Dell Technical Support. We would like to inform you that your computer has a problem. It's like, oh, I have a problem? Yes, sir. Are you in front of your computer? What's your name? And I don't remember his name, but then he says his name. It's like, oh, that's a really nice name. Wow, that's so nice. And then he keeps talking. He's like, oh, okay. And then he keeps on saying, sir, are you in front of your computer? And I say, oh, wow, you have such a nice voice. You keep talking. And he says, oh, my. And then, so then, let's see. He says, I say, do you have a family? Are you single? Oh my! You sound. I really like to meet you. Oh, you sound so attractive. I'm just imagining how manly you would be. He says, oh my, and then he hangs up. So that was the first one. The second time they called me, the same thing again. Hello, sir. We are from Dell Technical Support. We'd like to inform you that you have a problem with your computer. And then this time I started pretending that I was drunk. And then I said, who is this? What do you want? Sir, there's a problem with your computer. Oh, is there? And then I take a swig from my water bottle because I want to make sure he hears the swishing noise to add to the fact that I'm drunk, whatever that means. He says, yes, are you in front of your computer, sir? Yeah, man, I gotta be honest with you. You caught me when I was jerking off. Yeah, and then he says, oh, okay. And then I say, yeah, what do you want again? Sir, there's something wrong with your computer. Well, man, I'm looking at two girls eating out their assholes, and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong. And they say, okay, all right, goodbye, sir. And then he hangs up, and I said goodbye, and then that was it. They called for a third time sometime later, and they said, hello, sir, we are from Dell Technical Support. There's something wrong with your computer. And then I say, oh, hi, who is this? My name is Paul. Oh, Paul! Oh, wow, oh, gosh. Wow, Paul, it's so great hearing from you again. How are you doing? I'm fine, sir. How are you? Oh, I'm great. Man, I'm gotta be honest here. I really didn't think I'd hear from you again. Right, sir. I'm from Dell Technical Support. I'd like to inform you of this. Man, Paul, I mean, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy to be hearing from you again. I didn't think you'd call after what happened. How are you doing? You say you're working at Dell? Yes, sir. I'm from Dell Technical Support. Wow, good for you, man. Good for you. I mean, it's really difficult to get back on your feet after what happened. So is anything new going on? No, sir. I'm just here about Dell Technical Support. And I said, oh yeah, that's fine. Is there anything new going on in your life, Paul? Is anything going on? I really want to hear from you. No, sir. I'm just here about your computer, about Dell Technical Support. And then I say, let's see, what did I say again? Fuck, it's been a long time. Oh yeah, I say, hey Paul, listen, I'm really interested in what's going on with you. I know it can't be easy getting back on your feet after being raped by all those men. And then he says, Sir, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not that Paul. It's like, listen, Paul, it's been a really long time. We were all so worried about you. You know, like, we were worried sick. We didn't think we would hear from you again. And then now you only call because you want to talk about your job? And, let's see. What else did I say? I'm losing it. He says, "Sir, I'm not the Paul that you're talking about." And I said, "Paul, listen, we're all really worried about you. Where are you right now? Are you okay?" He's like, "No, I'm okay." "Paul, are you taking your meds?" "No, I'm not taking my meds." "Why aren't you taking your meds, Paul?" "Paul, are you tripping balls right now, Paul? Do you even have a job at Dell Technical Support? Where are you right now? Are you okay?" Do I need to call the police, Paul? Hang on, Paul, where are you right now? And he says, "Okay, sir, have a nice day," and then he hangs up.
No.
So there's my Indian story, trolling story. I'm not sure if I told it very well, but there you go.
That's beautiful. You're a hero to us all. Thank you for your story.
Well, I hope that's inspiration for you all to start trolling your scammers. And just remember, as long as they're calling you, they want something for you. So if you troll them, they have to put up with it.
Oh my god. I'm getting ideas already.
Oh, that's great.
Next time, you should tell them like a very gross, detailed story. It's like, yeah, there's something wrong with my toe. Like, it's been like squirting out this weird liquid, and it's kind of swollen, and I don't know what to do about it. I can't go to the doctor because I can't afford it. Oh man, it's really nasty. Like, I think there's like
just
something in there. Sorry, but
What's another question? An art question. This is an art stream for art questions.
I've been listening to too many creepypastas lately. I have a lot of material to go off of.
How to get straight lines if your hands are shaking every day.
Use a ruler.
No, I think their hands are shaking as in they have a condition.
Well then, what?
That's the question.
Another question. I already screwed up last stream with this stuff.
Okay, so there was this thing that I thought was pretty good and pretty telling before. I've just realized that I don't have any questions. I already know everything to do to get better, but I don't do it, and it's sad. I think that's a pretty good way to sum things up. Like you can ask for answers, and it's like if you really need a specific type of information, it's good, and I think you can assimilate the answers you're given or the critiques, or it's pretty much the same with all kinds of feedback. But if you're super vague, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, I don't know where I'm going, and how do I stay motivated? And it's like these are issues that you need to think about in terms of your personal psychology rather than art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely about getting a routine too. Like I said before, is like it's very hard unless you do get yourself a routine. But the thing is also you have to ask, like, do you really want this? Like, is this what you want? Because if it's not what you want, it's a lot of friggin' work, and it's tough. But if you really want it, then you do it, and then I don't know, it's like I could know I don't know, sometimes I feel like some people, I mean, I have this too, that I have certain things that I watch videos about, like, MREs and survival tactics and stuff and that kind of thing. Like, but I don't really go out and use them. It's interesting to me to see like how people work, and I feel like some people they're interested in learning how things work, but they don't have the passion to actually do it themselves. It's just more of a thing like, oh, so that's how that works. But I don't know. I guess it's like something you have to ask yourself. Like, do you just enjoy learning, or do you actually want to do it? I guess. Like, does that make sense, or am I being dumb?
Yeah, I think this has been a trend lately from what I've seen, that people they think they want to do art professionally, but really what makes them happy is just do it as a hobby, do it on your own. But there's this stigma of, oh, I need to make it, I need to get in the industry, I need to...
They had this test that was done a few years ago, and they would ask people what they want to be when they grow up. They asked kids, obviously. And then it used to be that people would say things like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be this, or I want to be that. And now the most common thing people would just say is, I want to be famous. Like, that's it. I want to be famous, not I want to be famous for, and then something. I want to be famous for, I don't know, drawing the best Bob and Paul story or something.
Who's Bob and Paul?
I want to be famous, and I think it's similar with art. It's just, oh, I want to be an artist. Especially, I want to be a concept artist.
Because I don't know, it's like people. That's what people they want to hear. Like the most, okay, what's the most famous thing? And what's the thing that makes the most money? It's like, oh, concept artist, because I do things on movies and that kind of stuff. And,
yeah, I get to draw all day, and that's cool. Drawing sounds easy.
Well, and yeah, and like it's not if you actually go into concept art, but I mean, not to like crap on my own job, but what I do is similar. I get to draw all day, but I draw things that are easier, and the thing is like it's more about, if you really want to be an artist, you also have to be a business person too. It's like you have to, it's not just about drawing, it's about you need to know how to market, etc. Like you need to art is a product. It's not just the art, it's the product, you know. So what was that? You guys emailed me that like how to market yourself thing that was really neat. I forgot to thank you guys for that. The thing you found, Flavia?
The PDFs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're a thing. They're made by this art director lady who's worked for some, I think she's still working actually, for some pretty big publishing companies, and they're very specific to, in a sense, they're very specific to the industry.
You're gonna have to talk about where to find it now, because you mentioned it.
Yeah. I'll link it.
So I was going to say that was super helpful, and I think that shows like what you need to do if you want to make it and stuff and get a job in it or whatever.
Yeah, I think if you just search up drawn and drafted, you'll come up with her name is Lauren Panepinto, and they have pretty, I don't know, I thought they were common sense. And how to talk to people, how to write emails, how to answer emails, how to do research. Not how to do research, but reminders that do research, do your homework, make that person know that you're interested in their business.
Yeah.
Well, that's another, I think that ties into the whole thing, like people don't actually see the work that goes into certain things, that they just assume, I'll just go out and do this, and whatever I do will be fine. And that's the thing, is like you actually need to know how and what the heck you're doing it. And sometimes that common sense, like I don't know how old all the people in the stream are, but I definitely didn't know any of that stuff when I was starting, when I was like 18, so it's good to, it's common sense for us now, I guess, but I think it's definitely helpful.
Mm-hmm. And there's also this thing, I forget who said it, but it's more like it's not about what you're, not so much about what you're willing to do, but what you're willing to sacrifice. Or what you don't think about what you're going to get, you think about what you're going to give up if you want to be in these things. Because to be an artist, you really, it's a lifestyle, and there's no real way around that. It's just a case of like, you do understand if you're going to pursue art that probably a great deal of your life is going to be involving art. And if you only sort of like it, like, oh, I kind of like art, it's something I'd like to do on the side, it might be difficult to have enough, I don't know, passion or whatever, persistence to keep going.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the thing is, like, people don't realize how lonely art can be too. It's just like, I mean, I've tried to have, it's gonna sound lame, but I've tried to have like not art friends as well as like outside of the internet, and it's very difficult to keep like regular friendships and also have a full-time art job, because it's not just like a job that you come home for. It's like, okay, I'm done for the day. I can do whatever. It's like, as soon as I'm done drawing for the day, I have to do emails, and I have to do marketing, and I have to do uploading, I have to do this. And I'm extremely lucky that my partner is, like, my boyfriend is very, like, patient with this, and he knows, like, right now we're both home, and he knows I have to do the stream and stuff. I don't have to. I want to do this. Anyways, but that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't end. Like, it doesn't, you don't just get off this job and it's like, okay, I don't have to do anything for the rest of the day. It's like, it's always there, because you're always getting emails. Well, if you have a decent business, you're always getting emails. There's always something else you need to do. If you're not getting enough attention for marketing, etc., you got to make sure that you do something that markets your art, so you get more commissions, more products sold, etc. It's just like, yeah, it's a very intense thing, I guess, but it's very fun and rewarding for me, because that's the kind of lifestyle I enjoy. And yeah, it's something you need to love and want. So, and that's the thing, is like, when you say giving up things, like, I've given up, like, I don't go out, and I don't know, like, I don't spend a lot of money on food and going out anymore. Like, I just kind of sit in my house and draw, but I'm happy with that. And then I have my internet friends like you guys, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we probably have time for one more question. That's it.
All right. What do you do when you can't seem to be confident posting your work? Is it better to just hoard your drawings and never let anyone see them?
What do you think, Pass?
I don't know. That's all up to you. Like, you don't have to post them. I guess I would say just get some art friends and get critique, I guess, if you want feedback. But I don't know. Like, mostly when you post on DeviantArt or something, unless you ask for critique, you're not really going to get any comments like that are specifically going to help, I guess. It's a lot of nice people that might boost your confidence, but I guess it's like, do you want to improve, or do you want people just to see you and, like, notice you, I guess? Is it like something for you, or is it something that you want to, like, communicate to people? So if you want to communicate to people, if you want to talk to other artists, if you want people to understand your art, then post it. But if that's not what's important to you, and you just want to get good, or you just want to draw because you want to see a specific thing, then don't post it, I guess. Or you could do both, or either. It's just your personal preference, I guess.
Yeah, there are some people who really wait a long time before posting, and then when they finally post, they're already super good.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's, I forget whose stream I was watching it, but they were talking about that there's lots of artists that they're just not ready to emerge yet, and then they emerge and they get disappointed because they're not at that point that they're amazing yet. Like, so they don't get the attention they think they deserve, even though they're not at that point, I guess. Like, they're expecting to have the attention that, like, a concept artist who's been drawing for 30 years gets. And you just don't get that unless you're amazing or you sell out to fan art or something. So, yeah, it's, I don't know. I guess I would highly recommend it if you draw a lot of fan art and you want to interact with other fans. Like, that's what I used to do, is all I used to do was fan art. I draw fan art and do art trades of fan art. Like, that's more of a communication community thing. But if you just like drawing horses because you like horses, then you don't necessarily have to post that unless you, like, want to say, hey, I would like to meet people who also like to draw horses, and I'd like to see their art.
Likes to draw horses.
I don't know. Yeah, he does. That's a very nice horse. But I don't know what it's doing, but I don't think I want to know.
I was giving the guy lap dance. Come on.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, with that, the stream is over. I would like to thank my very special guest, Bob Meatbag.
Yep.
Right. There we go. Shouldn't have expected any different. Pasteletta.
Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't blab too much. I have to do that when I'm nervous.
No, and yeah, so Pasteletta is a person who convinced me to do the mascot thing. So K,
Yeah.
Space Waitress K, that's pretty much from her.
Space titties.
Flavia, who did a great job of taking all the questions. Not all of them. There's lots that didn't, but a lot of them. And
Good
then Vasile.
I am here, Romania. Represent.
Say something in Romanian then, Vasile.
Pentru alte informații referitoare la...
Very good. Punga mai lunga. All right. And thanks to everybody in the chat and everyone who didn't get to watch this live, who's
And
watching
thanks,
this
Synex.
later. Huh?
We have to thank Synex.
Synex?
Yeah.
For what?
I don't know. Isn't he around in his own sphere?
Synex is doing his own Twitch stream.
Yeah.
You should go check it out. And for people, because people might watch this at a time when he's not streaming, go to twitch.tv/SycraStream and just wait, I guess, and eventually he should show up. So yeah, thanks everyone, and have a nice month. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.